In this video, we will explore the intrinsic value and time value of an option. When you look at the price of an option, which we call the premium, you are actually looking at two different parts added together. These two components are the intrinsic value and the time value. Understanding how these parts work will help you see how options are priced and how they behave in the real market. Now, let's define what we mean by intrinsic value. You can think of this as the real or built-in value that an option has right now. It is the amount by which an option is considered in the money. To put it simply, if you were to use your option immediately, the intrinsic value is the cash amount you would walk away with before considering what you paid for the option. Only in the money options have this value, while at the money and out of the money options have an intrinsic value of 0. A very important rule to remember is that intrinsic value can never be negative because you are never forced to exercise an option if it would result in a loss. To calculate this value, we use two simple formulas depending on the type of option. For a call option that is in the money, the intrinsic value is how much the current spot price, which we call S, is above the exercise price, which we call X. So the formula is spot price minus exercise price. For a put option that is in the money, it is the opposite. It is the amount by which the exercise price exceeds the spot price. Here, the formula is exercise price minus spot price. In both cases, the minimum possible value you will ever find is 0. Let's look at a practical example using real market data to see how this works. Imagine the current Nifty spot price is 18,315.10. We are looking at options with a strike price of 18,400. To buy the put option, the premium is 177.60 and the premium for the call option is 124.50. We will use these numbers to figure out the values for both options. First, let's check the status of our put option. Since our strike price of 18,400 is higher than the current spot price of 18,315.10, this put option is in the money. If you exercised it right now, you would get a positive cash flow. To find the exact intrinsic value, we take 18,400 minus 18,300 and 15.10. This equals to 84.90. So, our put option has an intrinsic value of 84.90. Next, we will do a status check for the call option using that same strike price of 18,400. Because the strike price is higher than the current spot price of 18,315.10, using this call option right now would be disadvantageous. This means the call option is out of the money. Based on our rules, all out of the money options have an intrinsic value of 0. Now that we have covered intrinsic value, let's talk about the second component, which is time value. Time value is simply the difference between the total premium you pay and the intrinsic value. The formula to remember is time value equals to premium minus intrinsic value. If you have an at the money or an out of the money option, the entire premium is made of time value because the intrinsic value is 0. However, an in the money option will have a combination of both intrinsic and time value. Let's apply this to find the time value for our put option. We know the total premium for the put is 177.60. We already calculated its intrinsic value as 84.90. When we subtract 84.90 from the premium of 177.60, we are left with 92.70. This means 92.70 of the price you paid is the time value. Finally, let's look at the time value for our call option. The premium for this call is 124.50. Since we already determined that its intrinsic value is 0 because it is out of the money, the math is very straightforward. 124.50 minus 0 equals to 124.50. In this case, the entire premium you pay for the call represents only time value